last 3, almost 4 years, we have been looking at, and I think we're continuing to they're continuing to try to press the idea of what is a pandemic, or what to be worried about this pandemic, the next pandemic, the next whatever, fill in the blank there. And they'll say it's because of this, it's because of that, it's because of whatever. But it got me thinking, I want to raise some questions and some stuff to get people to think, well, what is really a pandemic? And is everything else that we're being told or shown or we're supposed to accept, is that propaganda, or is that the sleight of the hand to look at this, focus on this, and concentrate on this, while you are paying no attention to the real issues or real stuff that could be considered a pandemic? So I'll go through that just to get people thinking. So all I'm talking about this is now, I'm going to list some figures, some stuff, and I just want people to spread the word or take care of some stuff. Change of mindset. Anyways, so 25% of 18-year-olds plus are on mental health medication, mental health pharma drugs. Let me repeat that. 25% of all 18 plus children, adults, are on mental health meds. 40% of kids entering high school are very overweight. I mean, we're not talking just a little, we're talking very overweight. Almost obesity, if not obesity. Over 100 million antidepressants were prescribed in 2021, 2022. 69 million were prescribed from 2015 to 2016. So you got 2015, 2016, 69 million was prescribed. Fast forward that up 5 years or so, and now over 100 million were prescribed. And we're almost in the year 2024, and that was for 21 and 22. Year 2021 and 2022, 100 million, over 100 million antidepressants were prescribed. And a lot of these are for kids, elementary kids, middle schoolers, high schoolers, because they have this thing that I call childhood, but they call ADHD or ADD or whatever you want to put there. And all it is, in my opinion, is a dumbing down and a calming to try to get the teachers, they call them teachers, I say the babysitters, easier to control the unruly children that are supposed to be there in this propaganda concentration prison system called K through 12. But that's just my opinion. So we got 70% of Americans are on prescribed medications. That's 70% are on prescribed meds. 50% of adults have diabetes. 50% of adults have diabetes. That's a huge number. Over 10 million cancer deaths annually. And my opinion on cancer is far from pharma. So do your own research on that, please. So over 10 million cancer deaths are annual, yearly. Just 30% of 12th graders reached or exceeded the academic preparedness benchmarks for both math and reading. That would qualify them for entry-level college courses. 37% is the correct number. Those high school seniors proficient in reading, the number for those proficient in math is closer to 25%. So that means 37% leaves you with what? You're left with 63% that don't pass, don't qualify. And on the math level, 25% are the only ones that are far enough along to score how they should, because they're at the age they are, because they're in high school or high school graduates. 75% don't make it, 75% didn't make it, 75% cannot compete, cannot complete it, did not reach the benchmarks. Why is that? And these children will be the main people in society in no time, and they can't hit these marks. And I'm not talking about the stuff that the the school, the K through 12 wants you to meet these benchmarks, that's garbage. That's nonsense. It doesn't matter. I'm talking about real benchmarks, real world kind of benchmarks, the stuff that you need to thrive and survive this life and raising children and, financially figure things out to get by. All right, that's enough on that. So if parents keep their kids from government schools and read with them weekly and maybe a little math exercises here and there, math games, Monopoly is a good one, and other stuff like that, their kids would be so much better off. That's my opinion. So much better off and more advanced than the failure of government schools, indoctrination, prison camps, like I said. So if the parents just pull them out of the K through 12 system, that's kind of propaganda that they're in 6 to 8 hours a day. If you pull them from there and you just read with them, maybe we'll say 3 to 4 hours a week, you read with them. You don't have to do the reading. They'll read with you. You read. They'll read to you. You listen, you correct mistakes, that kind of stuff. And then also on that same note, do some math exercises. I feel you'll be so much further advanced, your children will be so much further advanced than if they went every day, 6 to 8 hours a day in this indoctrination camp called K through 12. So on that note, I'll just step back. I know I've spoken of this before, but I pulled my children out of school. My one child had just finished 5th grade. He was going into 6th. My other child, I believe, had just finished 3rd grade. He'd be going into 4th. And I pulled them. I pulled them from there. And I started homeschooling, if you want to call it that, or home education, or whatever. I had no clue. I was nervous, whatever, that whole gamut, because I thought that actual schools mattered and the teachers were doing good. I had no idea how bad it actually was and how kept back and propagandized the children had been and were. Once I pulled them, I started reading. We started reading every day. And you don't even have to do this every day, but we started reading every day. And then I had them doing some simple math stuff. And then as it went on, I learned more and I got them on some other programs, math programs that I got myself, and I would teach them right over C. And if need be, we would search some sort of person out, a mentor or whatever, to help with those math things or science things or what I could not, or time restraints, whatever it was. But also one of the biggest things there I thought of and I found is like, I'm going to have them start doing their own projects, their own things. So I started assigning things, whether it was monthly or every 6 weeks, would assign a subject and say, I want you to do a report on this. And I want you to do a report on this, a different report. And I would whatever I felt, it didn't matter what they were interested in, whatever I felt would be beneficial for them, their knowledge and their growing and their growth, that kind of stuff. So I picked from all over. Creating a business, I did that. I did it on financial stuff. I did it on the original What is Real Money, and I did it on different artists, a whole bunch of stuff, different subjects. And the main thing was they started, I had them doing it, and then had them type it or write it out, rough drafts, and I would have them type it up and then turn it in. And they did this for a couple times, so maybe 3 months worth. It was done. And I'm like, well, this is what we're going to do. I want both you guys. I want you guys to spend the next month, and I will tell you what your next assignments are each, and this will be doing like 2.5 months. So I'll give you a month to learn PowerPoint, figure it out, and then I want your next presentation to be a PowerPoint presentation. So I said, there's the internet, there's YouTube, there's other sources, just go online, just figure it out. So that's what I did. I didn't teach them anything of that. I said, you need to figure it out because you need to learn how to research, you need to learn how to find the answers yourself, you need to find solutions, because that's not what you're taught in K through 12 in these government indoctrination camps. you're not allowed that at all because they don't want people fending for themselves. So I did that, and then it just exploded, and they got better and better and better. And I mean, that was one of the best things. So reading all the time, and not reading children's books that's at their level, so fourth grader and a sixth grader level. No, I read real stuff. We read The Creature from Jekyll Island. We would read a ton of these. We'd read a bunch of financial books, and a lot of these, and they were hard for them to understand and comprehend at first. But the more we did it, the better the vocabulary got, the better the spelling got, the better their word usage got, and they just started learning, and they strived. So anyways, that's just a little hiccup or just a little insight on that. And on the same thing, my youngest he was dyslexia, and he had dyslexic, and it wasn't real bad, but with the B's and P's and all that kind of stuff. And he was really struggling in K through 12 and in his elementary, and really bad that they wanted to put him in a special unit, whatever. And then we ended up pulling him. And his spelling was horrible, his reading was not good, that kind of stuff. I want to say after 6 months, complete turnaround. After we read every day. I mean, my wife, because I did it with them, and then my wife, she heard him read at one time after 6 or 8 months, 9 months, and she was like blown away. She's like, it's amazing. He's the same child. I can't believe. It's so much. It would have been horrible if he would have stayed in government schools. I said, absolutely. And that's, most of those kids are suffering. Not only the indoctrination that they're set up with, but just the lack of training, the lack of help, the lack of care, the lack of real education that they don't get, and it's their valuable time of their life to do it when they have that time. So anyways, we'll step out of that little insight there. But so this is what government schooling indoctrination does. Government schools indoctrination. That's what they do. They take away and they don't let people and kids excel. It's not no child left behind. It's no child allowed to advance. That's what it is. So I'll continue here. 50% of U.S. adults are unable to read an 8th grade level book. Let me repeat that. 50% of U.S. adults are unable to read an 8th grade level book. 46% of adults can't understand labels on prescriptions. And 66% of Americans, 12th graders, 66% of American 12th graders are rated basic or below basic in reading achievement, if they even get any sort of achievement. And we got only 37% of 12th graders reached or exceeded the academic preparedness benchmarks for both math and reading that would qualify them for entry-level college courses. Entry-level. We're talking the bottom barrel, even technical college level kind of stuff. Only 37%, or even at entry level. So I don't know. These are just the things I want to get people thinking, and think about what really matters and what's really going on. While all this propaganda is out there, like you got to be worried about this thing in the air. You got to be worried about these other countries. You got to be worried about this one person because they're Chinese, or this one person because they're German, or this one person because they're Siberian, or this one person because they're XYZ. Fill in the blank. It doesn't matter, because of the wrong color, the wrong sex, the wrong whatever, the wrong heritage. No, it has nothing to do with that. All that is dividing, and then right after that is conquering. That's the whole plan. It's easier to conquer people when they're divided and fighting against each other and preoccupied by all this stuff that doesn't matter. Just like on the same note of what is money? What is currency? It's not taught in schools. It's not really taught anywhere. You have to go find that out and learn it yourself. But back in the older days, decades ago, people knew real money was gold and silver and assets. That was real wealth. Even cattle, that kind of stuff, that was real wealth. Chickens, the stuff that really mattered was real wealth. Nowadays, people think real wealth is if you have a 401k, an IRA, some sort of savings in all this currency that is controlled, and it's taken power away from, and the value of, over and over, every second, every minute of the day, it's worth less and less. You can buy less and less with it. The purchasing power is just evaporating unbelievably fast. But if you had real assets, gold, silver, land, and cattle, that kind of stuff, none of that stuff evaporates away like the currency does. But everyone feels or views, not everyone, most people feel and view, well, if I have all this stuff in the bank, all these digits, all this, stuff you can't see, touch, feel, taste, that kind of stuff, if I have all this in the bank, these imaginary numbers, these digits, that means I'm wealthy. Well, no, they have no clue, because once that trigger's hit, once something happens, it zeroes out, it goes boom, and it's gone. Look at Zimbabwe, look at Argentina, look at Venezuela, look at the Weimar Republic, look at Russia, and all that stuff over the years, the decades. Once it happens, it's gone. Everyone's wiped out. Everyone who's in that system is wiped out. And they have nothing of real value and nothing of real worth to stand on or to survive with, to survive by. But anyways, I want to thank you for watching this. If you like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And as always, stay vigilant with yourself, your family, your health, and protect your wealth.